los jugadores de multiplayer. Soy el anfitrión Guillermo Dorado. Conmigo hoy son mis coanfitriones Zack y Javier Ortiz. Saluda a la audiencia.
Excuse me, I'm white.
Who are you?
I'm trying to get us a bilingual audience, all right? We're excluding people. We need to have the whole masses listen to the show. Guys, welcome to Multiplayer. I'm your host, Guillermo Dorado. For those of you who can't speak Spanish, we've got Zack as well as Javier Ortiz.
Hello.
What up?
We have a show for you. You can determine whether it's good. Just kidding, it's great. No, we have a show for you guys today. We're going to be going through a lot of different things, mainly talking about Xbox and their new updates that have kind of recently come about, talking about what it may have done for the game industry by setting some pretty high bars. We're going to be talking about maybe some rumors about PS5. Already, and some exclusive beta things. So, let's get into it. Before we do, though, I do want to say, guys, if you are watching this, any people on YouTube, you can also enjoy this at your leisure any time of the day without having to strain those eyes on those blue lights from your screens by listening to our podcasts on Google Play as well as iTunes, correct? Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
And also, people who are listening to podcasts, if you like to see these match the voices to faces, or see us basically,
Talk.
be real cool and lose their train of thought, you can see this actually on our YouTube page at youtube.com/multiplayer. And also, guys, just want to say thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to see more extra content, you can also go to our Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayer, and if you'd like to donate $1, you can gain exclusive access to 2 extra videos a month just for you guys.
It's a lot of stuff.
So, now that that is all out of the way,
Yes.
we can start the show, and boy, am I excited
Are you?
about it. I am, man. There's a lot of different things we get to talk about. There's a lot of really cool situations that are happening. Just breaking, really, actually. And one of them is going to be just breaking now. We're making history.
Oh my god.
No, actually, the first thing I do want to touch upon is the Xbox updates that just happened recently to their whole system. Essentially, they have kind of done a little bit more in the customizing options for people's gamer profiles and avatars as well. You can actually now upload custom pictures.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm pretty sure they still do have some sort of graphic blocker, so you can't put those dick pics up just yet.
Darn!
You can also now have 3 Xbox going at the same time. 3 users can co-stream together.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so now you can, like, people who are doing like a lot of Twitch channels and a lot of things, like they want to like get their friends in on doing some like more social media like streaming things. Now we have that capability and much easier facet, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, then a couple other things too is now you can actually assign a controller to a profile. So every time you turn on that controller, it pops up with your profile right then and there. So pretty easy to do.
Such a good idea too. Like,
I know,
such
right?
a good
Yeah.
idea. I hate doing that. Like, that's the one thing I hate about current gens when you play a multiplayer game. Like, I was playing not Mortal Kombat, Injustice 2 the other night, and you know, when you have someone's PlayStation that you're playing on, you have your controller, you have to assign which user you're using, and then the second player has to be another user. And it just makes life so much easier when a controller automatically goes to one profile. It makes so much sense.
Yeah. If only you could tap an amiibo, though.
Well, it's like, you know how everyone has their own like specific controller where it's like, I will kill you if you play on my controller at my house. Now you can basically like call it digital dibs on it before you even touch the controller.
Yeah.
I love that option.
Yeah, stuff like that is definitely pretty cool. Where like the more customized you can get with all of your games, the better. Where it's
Sure.
like if you
Oh,
can
yeah,
bring
for
your
sure.
controller over or your amiibo over, anything like that, where you can be like, you sync it up with that system, and my controls are there, my profile's there, like all that kind of stuff. I love that.
Right, and it's like it's
It just
also
makes
that
things
thing
easy.
too when you like do go to someone else's house and they don't play like the same configuration on the controller. It takes
Yeah.
like 15 minutes for them to like fix the sensitivity, fix the like the inversion. It's like just pop it on, you're done, you're playing the game already. So that is I think that's a pretty good strategy on it.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
It's one of those things that you kind of like overlook, and now that you have it, you're like, oh, how did that not be a thing?
Makes
for
so
a long
much
time?
sense.
Right. One of the
those-
last things too. Now you can actually, for Killer Instinct specifically on Xbox, you can create your own tournaments now too.
Nice.
Nice.
So that's the
pretty
kind
cool.
of last little bit. Xbox trying to put their, keep themselves kind of relevant after they've done the whole Xbox X like reveal.
Right.
So that is pretty nice. But I do want to segue into that from there to the PS5 rumors because we do have to actually touch upon Xbox again for that reason. So basically, what has kind of come out, we've had a Wall Street Journal pretty much article talking about a Macquarie Capital Securities analyst named Damien Thong, who predicts that in 2018 Sony will drop the PS5. That's when he thinks it is, but he is getting a little bit of a different kind of standpoint from Wedbush Securities from Michael Patcher, who predicts that won't be at least announced until 2019 or 2020, because he thinks that Sony's waiting for the 4K television market to at least get to 50% here in the U.S. and then 35% worldwide.
I can see that.
Which that makes a lot of sense.
For sure. Yeah. The only thing, though, is that Damien Thong seems to have more credibility in this department because he actually did correctly predict the PS4 Slim and the PS4 Pro. So either way, the PS5 is obviously on the horizon. I mean, as soon as they release their new console, they're already in preparation to make the next one, right?
Yeah.
So we know it's coming. It just depends on what year. But the question that I want to pose to you guys is, what do you think the PS5 is going to have to do, or if anything at all, to keep Sony at the top?
The top, start? Yeah, I mean the top being kind of,
at least between Microsoft and
right.
Sony. Diehard fanboys for Nintendo will say otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing it's going to have to definitely be backwards compatible with PS4. Yeah. It has to. But
at least PS4, or do you think it should go back further?
I mean, I think it would be really cool if it went back further, but
it won't.
Yeah, I don't think it will.
Why do you say that?
Because the PS4 isn't even backwards compatible with the PS3.
Right, but I mean, now that they have the Xbox One X, I see, and this is what I want to talk about too. The Xbox One X, it seems like it's setting a lot of very high standards for the video game industry now.
Yeah.
It's doing the backwards compatibility all the way back to the original Xbox, which I think is a very smart idea. I mean, just from a business standpoint alone, because we can talk about gamers all the time, saying how much we want to revisit those old games, right, and have it more accessible, as opposed to buying an Xbox, like an original one. It's from a business standpoint, now they get to resell all these games a whole for the second time over, right? But so Xbox One X, they did the backwards compatibility now, and it also has the whole 4K, like unbelievable 60 frames per second, the 6 teraflops, hardware inside. It's got this powerhouse. So it's setting this bar, this standard, because once people start to eventually make that their primary Xbox in their homes, that's going to be the standard that they want to play their games at. And so everyone else is going to have to kind of live up to that standard. So within that context and that frame of reality, how do you think the PS5 is going to do, and what do you think they need to do?
Well, first off, as far as like backwards compatibility,
sure.
I think that like Sony's definitely they're taking their own approach. They have PlayStation Now, and they're trying to basically just steer everybody towards this kind of sort of Netflix style, like okay, here's a monthly service where you can play our games, and and we have a little bit of everything from PS3 onwards, kind of thing, and it's like I'm trying to remember the company. I think it was called Gaikai, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry if I'm wrong, everybody.
Sorry, Gaikai.
That sounds right. But Sony bought that company years ago, and to sort of develop this sort of streaming service, and I think they wanted since they literally spent millions and millions of dollars on that. They might as well just like continue down that path and just sort of like continue to expand that library, make it even easier to stream. Try and get things.
I see what you're saying.
Because like right now everything's at I think 720p, so it's like they'll want to push that to 1080, and it's like I'm sure they'll want to put PS2 games, maybe even PS1, maybe that's at least my guess. Obviously they have the kind of the PlayStation library of those old PS1 and PS2 classics, but I'm sure maybe they'll, because of what Microsoft's doing, where they now have backwards compatibility all the way to the OG Xbox, I think Sony will want to do that on their streaming side, where it's like, okay, $20 a month or whatever it is, it's like you can get everything from PS1 all the way through even the PS4 library, because they have PS4 games. So I'm sure they'll try and just continue down that path, and make people want to.
Now something's starting to kind of like make sense in my head, or it's the illogical part of this is starting to make kind of clear. Who has the original Xbox games anymore? Like I for some reason when they said backwards compatible to Xbox, I thought that they were going to release a whole bunch of online, like not remastered, but like they're going to re-release those games, but on an online platform.
Right.
But no, it's backwards compatible for the actual discs. Who has those anymore?
I mean,
That's the question.
The question is, who wouldn't have those? If you sold your games, you suck. Stop selling your games. GameStop doesn't need them.
Those are treasures, personal treasures. You have to
I
keep
have all the games I've ever owned in my life.
You better.
All of them.
I have mine.
You know, now though, like now that the Xbox One X is coming out, I wish I still had. Obviously, it's the remake, but the Conker's Fully Reloaded.
Yeah.
What is it? Bad Fur Day.
Bad Fur Day.
Yeah. When they did that for the Xbox, that was the first time I actually had played that game, which is
Right.
sad to say, but nonetheless amazing. That game's
Well,
fantastic.
you know,
Yeah.
you say sad to say, but you know, it's something. That game came out in I think '99. Like
Yeah.
it came out way later than
Yeah.
like the N64's
And it's
life cycle.
extremely expensive now. Like that game.
That's because it never sold.
Yeah.
I mean, it just didn't sell well because it came out so late in the game. Like, I mean, Dreamcast and PS2 were already out. And it was just
Yeah.
one of those things that's like, maybe it might be '98.
It was late 90s,
yeah,
definitely
it's-
late. It was
it's
like at
really-
the end of the
it's-
64.
Like,
Sure,
it was like
sure.
the last game on N64, like, by
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
it's a nice swan song for the 64.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's a really fun
it's a
game.
weird swan song for the, I said swang.
Swan.
Swan.
It's a swan
It's a
song.
swan and a swan.
Let me see that swan. Swang, swang.
Predicted by Damien Thong. All right, so going back to PS5. So now Xbox has set this bar. Both, set this bar with kids screaming in the background, but also set this bar with visuals, with performance, and with backwards compatibility. Now, I think that PS5 would be just fine if they went and did a more expansive PS1 and PS2 library and their online streaming service. Like you said, I think it's a fantastic idea. But I mean, like, the PS4 is, already a pretty powerful machine, and it is where it needs to be for what the market is for 4K TVs right now. So do you think that they're going to have to make this amazing, like, incredible, incomprehensible machine like they did with Xbox One X?
Well,
Popular?
I think it's just a natural next step where it's, obviously it's like technology almost, I would say probably doubles, if not more, every year.
Oh, yeah,
easily.
of course. It's exponential
So it's
for
like,
sure. Yeah.
and you think about, Sony, and as soon as the PS4 came out, you already have your researchers, your research development side, already working on a PS5. And, consoles are typically a couple years behind, but even with that, it's, by the time the PS5 comes out, which I think will probably be 2020.
You think so?
That's my guess.
What do you think?
I say 2019. I really think so. Yeah.
Because when is Xbox One X is this holiday season?
It's November, yeah. This
Yeah.
November.
Okay. So I would probably say 2019.
I mean,
as
because
well.
you think about the PS4 Pro is like a half, like it's sort of, it's not
It's
a
a
new
half step.
Yeah, it's a half step towards a new console. So
It's the Xbox One S of PS4s, essentially.
Yeah.
yeah,
If
Which I
not,
forgot
if
that
not a
they
little
also-
bit more.
Like, okay, I get it. All right, I get iPhone doing it. But
Yeah.
keep it away from my video game consoles. Like, we already have such a small turnover rate for console lives anyways.
Yeah.
Why you gotta add these, like, iterations of, like, well, the S, the Pro? Like, just let it be until the next thing comes out. God, I'm getting mad now. I didn't realize I was gonna get mad in this episode.
well, it's just hardware these days. It's just updating so fast.
Yeah.
Like
That's-
technology is just
like,
growing.
Yeah, like I said, it's like technology, it basically doubles every year. So you think about Sony or Microsoft, where it's like a year or two after a console comes out, they're like, hey, guess what? We can make a more powerful system for way cheaper. Let's
and
do it.
make more money.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where it's like people want technology now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, can I have a slightly better system right now? Okay, yeah, let me take that.
Yeah, it's true.
It's so it's
You
might
guys
as well-
aren't like that, though. Like, you got that doesn't, that market, you're not the audience for that market.
No, I mean, if I was into that, I would just get a PC, and I would just upgrade that.
Sure.
Because
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up. I mean, you take it back to like the roots of games, like PC. That's why PC has always been like technically the best, because that is always up to date with hardware, because you can always upgrade it and make it better. And in terms of consoles, you can't, because you have to wait for companies, and they have their market, and
Sure.
so they can't just produce something new every year because they won't make any money.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's. I don't know where I was going with that, but
No,
that's pretty much it.
you nailed the point. You nailed the point for sure. Now, so that's in the context of Sony. what they're going to be doing.
Yeah.
How do you think Nintendo's going to be affected by this Xbox One X release?
No, I mean Nintendo's weird. Like
Yeah,
it's so different. Like they're never affected by
They
anything.
are behind, but they're ahead of the game every time. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
they may be
weird.
behind in resolution and graphics and
Yeah.
stuff, but they're always so innovative with their next system and how to play it, how to experience a game in a whole different kind of way. So
Yeah,
it
it's
is
definitely
interesting for sure.
it's one of those things that, like Nintendo, ever since the GameCube, they're just like, we're just gonna do our own thing. You know, I think they knew by about that time where it's like, okay, technology is getting to a point we're not gonna be able to keep up with Microsoft and Sony, because it's like especially like Microsoft. I mean, Microsoft, they build computers for a living.
Yeah,
you know,
that
it's
their company is based off of computers.
Yeah, and it's like, and Sony is a huge electronics company. So it's like those two are just, I mean, they're powerhouses within the technology field, and that's something that Nintendo's just they make systems and games, but
Absolutely.
but at the end of the day, I like to think of them more of like a toy company. Not to say that their systems aren't
Sure,
incredible
you're not
in their own ways,
invalidating them.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
but it's something they're
different.
They're coming at it in a different way,
Right.
and it works for them. It's like you think about, in a lot of ways, Nintendo's always kind of been the technological underdog, except for probably the GameCube, where I could say the GameCube is probably.
It was pretty, I would say that's pretty on par
Yeah,
with
I mean,
what was out there at the time.
Yeah, but other than that, it's like, the Game Gear, was way more powerful than the Game Boy. Didn't matter. Game Boy sold more.
Yeah.
The Genesis was more powerful than the Super Nintendo. Doesn't matter. I mean, the Super Nintendo just had incredible games. It's just stuff.
That's amazing.
PS1 and even the Saturn was a little more powerful than the N64, just because the N64 was on cartridges.
But the
It's like-
N64, though, to be fair, was God.
Yeah.
I love.
Well, it's just
gosh. I mean, if I could marry an inanimate object, it would be the 64.
Yeah. But yeah,
Gosh.
it's one of those things that Nintendo's they've always kind of gone to the beat of their own drum, and,
Sure.
and they just continue to do that. And they're
But it's not
more
like they're
about
like
games.
playing the drum like they would regularly. They're like smacking on all sides. They're renting the
Yeah.
drum. They're wearing the drum. It's just like
Yeah.
they're all over
They-
the place with their stuff.
They
and
have
it
that.
works. It
They
works.
have that Donkey Kong Jungle Beat drum, and they're just beating on that.
Oh my
you know?
gosh! And then like whenever they had the clap icon, you just blew into
Yeah.
it. And you got like all the points. That was a ridiculous game. So yeah, okay. So I think that basically, in short, that Nintendo's going to be pretty much safe. PS4 is probably going to have to upgrade their technology and maybe add some more like backwards compatibility in their streaming services. But you don't think that this Xbox One X is going to like bring them to the pinnacle of gaming like when it releases?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like, I mean, the PS4 is just outselling the Xbox One by a ton. I think
It just sold, I think, since last in May, it just reached another 50 million copies.
with the PS4.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
If it's either 50 million or 20 million, either way, it's multiple millions.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like the Xbox One's just so far behind now that it's like Sony can just sit pretty for a while and they're okay.
Sure.
It's just like the install base for PS4 is just way higher.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
just
the
like
games they have too that they offer.
yeah,
It's the games.
and
for sure.
I mean for sure, and
But I think this might be a thing. It's like, and we're about to get off the subject. We probably need to here in a minute. But like, I think that we forget that what Xbox has truly innovated in the past. They basically made the market for live gaming, for multiplayer online gaming. I mean, Sony and Nintendo were both late to that. Nintendo being the latest,
Yeah.
They still haven't
They're
figured it
still
out.
not that good at it.
It's still pretty bad.
We're
Right.
gonna
We'll get to
discuss
that.
them
personal anecdotes.
That's a great segue.
Right.
about an hour ago. We all
15 hours later. Yeah, no. But yeah, anyway, so that's, they're gonna, who knows? This may be another like kind of subterfuge that this ends up being a bigger thing than we actually think right now.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's
Kinda the way
also
Lag was.
one more thing about the PS5 whenever that does come out, and one thing about the PS4 now, the PSVR is doing pretty well for something that's kind of brand new. And I think with the PS5, that might be, I don't know if it'll become something regular at that point, but I would expect something with the PS5 to have some sort of
Like a Kinect
improvement.
thing, but like,
I don't know about Kinect, but like some sort of
But like the VR
something
version of it.
VR.
I see what you're
It's
saying.
got to be connected to it.
sure.
But it'll, it's not something that'll be sold with the console.
No.
Because it's something that's like,
No.
Sony,
No.
no, it won't. Because it's like, it's
Money.
like Xbox, they really, like, Microsoft screwed up with the Xbox One. They're like, it has to be sold with Kinect. It has to be sold with Kinect.
Yeah.
You know, and then they had to price it way too high.
In your daily lives.
Yeah,
We
and it's
spy
just like,
on you.
and then everybody's like, we don't want this Kinect.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, we're gonna take out the Kinect. We're sorry, guys. And so, you know, I'm sure Sony has taken notice of that, and they're like, you know, I think PSVR will, you know, I think there will definitely be like a PSVR 2 that comes out around the same time. Probably a year later would be my guess.
Just naming the thing completely different every time. We've gotten so they've gotten so technical about the inner guts that they don't have time to think of a new name for the freaking console.
Well, I mean, that's always just been Nintendo, right? And Sega, but Sega, I mean, that's kind of dead now. But when you think about Microsoft and PlayStation,
okay, well, I guess maybe it's more of like the 1, 2, 3, 4 sequential order. Like at least Xbox went 360, Xbox One. You know, like at least they're changing it up. It's not going as well. Not who knows.
Well, you know why they did that?
Why?
I read an article a couple years ago. So the reason that they went with 360 versus like the Xbox 2 or something like that was because
they're trying to innovate themselves.
Well, no, it's because PlayStation, they were going with PlayStation 3, and Xbox didn't want to go Xbox 2 because then everybody'd be like, oh, well, clearly the PlayStation 3 is better because they're the 3 and this is the 2. So they thought about even just jumping a number and going Xbox 3, and from there they sort of spun it and said 360.
I like it.
I said spun it, but that wasn't a pun. That was
it's okay. That's probably the guy who thought of the name. That's probably how he delivered it.
Yeah. So they literally they kind of
promotion.
They jumped ship off the numbers completely just so they weren't like a number behind PlayStation
until they went to the Xbox One.
And just confused everybody.
It doesn't make any sense.
And then they went
the Nintendo Wii and the Wii U. At least it's like, numbers work, maybe not letters. You know, like.
Hey, you think that's bad? Try new Nintendo 2DS XL.
Oh God, yeah.
They're taking the Kingdom Hearts way of naming things, their nomenclature. Like, oh my
Nintendo 2DS Chapter Prologue 2.8.
The prequel, sequel, therefore, before, after, now it is. What?
The saga begins.
It's like you think you buy the console and you buy a book that is the title and it's actually sold separately. Like, what? All right, guys, moving on. So, speaking of PS4, there is actually something that's coming out that I think was pretty exciting to hear about. We've got it there on our table, too. Note for you guys, podcast listeners, you're missing out a whole another level of this show. There's onion layers to this thing. Our YouTubers can clearly see that on our table we have themed situations of things that we're talking about. So you get like a little bit of foreshadowing before we even start the show.
Where's the Xbox?
I wish we
It's in your mind. Xbox mind control.
Sorry, everybody. I don't have much Xbox stuff. I apologize. I have a lot of Nintendo, some PlayStation.
So if you'd like to see more Xbox things, please go to our Patreon. No, I'm kidding.
If you want to see more Xbox stuff, just mail your Xbox stuff to me personally.
But don't sell your games. Keep the games, because that character's got ability.
Just some
no,
of your
but so the original developers, as well as fans of the game, of the series, are trying to make a compilation of TimeSplitters. They want to take all 3 games, combine it into one basically remastered remake for both PC and PS4. But they don't. At first, they didn't have the rights. They were just wanting. This is like a passion project. They wanted to go ahead and go through with it. And Crytek, who owns CryEngine, owns the game. So basically, what they kind of figured is like, if we make our game in Crytek, then it'll be a little easier to get the IP. Which eventually it was granted to them. Crytek said, yes, you can have this IP. Let's make this remastered version of all 3. Only thing is that it has just come up to, as great as that news is, and as much as we would love to play those games, because fantastic games all around. Probably like one of the first first-person multiplayer centric games I played. What was it, PS1 was it when it first started?
No.
PS2?
PS2.
Okay.
So the original TimeSplitters was, if I remember correctly, was just a PS2 exclusive. TimeSplitters 1. And then 2 and 3 came to all 3 consoles, so PS2, Xbox,
it did so well,
and GameCube. And so it's
So they're wanting to make because multiplayer games are doing so well, online games are doing really well. They want to make this game and take those those 3 beautiful games, remaster into one compilation. But the only thing that they're kind of finding a little bit of pushback now is that Crytek, CryEngine, is actually not as powerful as they were hoping to actually make this game.
Well, it's just, I'm not sure if it's necessarily power. It's more just like there's technical issues with the Crytek engine that like there's just hurdles that they can't get over until Crytek fixes their engine.
Sends an update, right?
Like
The
updates
developers went on their blog and basically said that what takes us a few minutes in another engine takes us 4 days in CryEngine.
Yeah.
I associate that with
That's
power,
insane.
but yes, with the technical limitations of like the obstacles that they're finding, it's making it incredibly difficult. So now what they're trying to figure out is whether they should continue to go through this grueling process or, really hound Crytek to update their engine in order for it to be a little easier and accessible, or they switch over to Unreal 4 engine and start to complete the game, which they could very easily well do, probably by probably by next summer, I think. The only thing is that if they did take the game to a different engine out of CryEngine, they will have to basically rebrand the entire game and make a new IP for it. So now they're trying to figure out what they should do, and they're actually having a poll on Discord.com for fans until the end of this week to basically say, what do you think? Should we try to push out the CryEngine, or should we just make a whole new IP, but basically like the sole successor of these 3 games? So.
Yeah, so when I first read that article the other day, I was kind of like I was very torn about it, and the whole TimeSplitters situation, it's very heartbreaking to me because I was like,
You tell.
so
I didn't know there's a sad story to this.
it's so
Everyone
sad.
buckle in.
So back in the GameCube days, I was just a huge fan of TimeSplitters. Like 2 and 3 were just some of my favorite games for that system, and I have so many good memories of just like getting together like 3 other friends and we're just like sitting around the TV and just playing TimeSplitters because that multiplayer is incredible.
Destroying
I mean,
those bots.
it's
Yeah.
it's just absolutely insane. You're playing like Capture the Flag and Team Deathmatch and stuff, and you're playing like the craziest characters, especially in TimeSplitters 3, it gets even wackier where you're just like my favorite character is
It's even wackier.
gets-
That's how they
it's
sold the
super
game.
like
Wait until the new one comes out with new
It's-
wacky characters.
It's wacky. But it's that you're playing just
Wow.
crazy characters. Like, my favorite character in that game to play as, his name was Mr. Flesh Cage. And he's literally, he's just made of sticks and, like, weird, like, bones and organs and stuff. And he would just, like, when you pick him, he goes, "Sticks and stones, they're my bones." And so I would just run around as him, and I got, like, dual Tommy guns, and I'm just mowing down, like, weird duck people and gingerbread men
The monkey.
and monkeys. And it's just, that game is insane.
Yeah.
Like, I love that
It's
game.
such a weird game.
I love
You're
those
like
games.
unearthing these like memories that
Yeah.
I forgot I had. This is amazing.
And I mean, those games, there's just nothing like them at the time. At the time, like, everybody was kind of like, was really onto the Halo bandwagon. I was like, dude, Halo doesn't have crazy gingerbread men with rocket launchers.
Yeah.
That game was, I love those games, and I love the kind of the weird British humor that Free Radical brought to those games. Nathan might enjoy it. He's nodding over there behind camera, but I have such a love for those games.
Sure.
And when Free Radical went out of business back in the PS3
The best
days,
ones do, just like Oddworld. Again, the best ones go.
and
always
when Crytek picked them up, I was like, well, that's cool. I mean, they've made, they made Far Cry, they made Crysis. Like, they're great at first-person
They
shooters.
love the word "cry" in the titles of the
Yeah.
games.
They just want to make people cry, apparently. But
Why Zach loves them.
and check out our Patreon video. But
It makes sense now, like connecting the dots, like that last scene in Fight Club, like.
but I thought it might have been a good fit because it's
Sure.
like these people that make a lot of FPSs now have the TimeSplitter series,
Yep.
but they haven't done anything with it.
Were you a big fan of TimeSplitters as well back in the day?
I played the most out of the second one because I had a GameCube, and
Sure,
my buddy
sure.
had a GameCube, and he's the one who introduced me to that game. I never played 1 or 3, but I remember playing multiplayer matches on 2
Yeah.
with just, again, the insanity of all the different characters. I always played the monkey. That was my guy because I thought he was
So
funniest.
long. I remember playing. I think I started with Future Perfect. Or no, I didn't start with Future Perfect, but I remember like that was the first one I owned on the Xbox, actually, the OG. And
Which is the third.
But now like all the memories are so hazy. I do remember like the character vaguely reminded me of Riddick from the Chronicles of Riddick.
Well, that's like the main character.
Yeah.
I think he's on the cover.
Cortez.
Oh yeah, Cortez.
Yeah.
That's his name. You have to say it correctly. It's Cortez.
Like
okay.
Crash Bandicoot.
But yes, I think that when eventually, hopefully that game will come out, they'll stop seeing those terrible hurdles that they're trying to jump across with CryEngine.
It's such a shame.
When it does come out, though, it's going to have a huge market considering how prevalent, online massive multiplayer games are happening.
Yeah.
Plus, it would kind of be nice to get that different feel and spin on it too around this time. It'd be like a good renaissance of those kind of games.
Yeah, I've been wanting TimeSplitters 4 for the longest time. I'd love to just see a remake of just the first 3, but it's just it's such a wacky game. I would love to see just a new iteration on that series where it's like, hey, here's things to think about a map as big as something in Overwatch, but
Sure.
Just think of the craziest possible characters with the craziest weapons.
I guess Overwatch is pretty close to that, isn't it? You do play as Monkey in that game.
He's a gorilla.
Sorry,
He's a
I'm
gorilla?
so
Alright.
sorry.
Excuse me?
I'm so
Get it
generalizing just a whole
All right, thank you.
type of monkey.
Racist against
All right,
monkeys.
specious. Okay, specious.
Specious.
Do not compare me with those animals. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, that's pretty close. I mean, if anything, that'd be kind of a spiritual successor to TimeSplitters 4, wouldn't you say?
But it's very different. I mean, it's Overwatch is obviously it's like you're capturing points, and it's you have a lot of King of the Hill stuff like that. It's like
In terms, maybe not in necessarily gameplay, but in terms of feel, personality.
Yeah, a little bit. I would say
Just agree with me.
I mean,
know.
What do I have to do?
we're not friends.
You're hurting my feelings. No,
you can't get
yeah,
past
so
the gingerbread man and a dude who's just a skeleton with organs and shit. It's just.
I didn't say it was exact.
No, I know, but it's just crazy stuff like that. It's just you don't
right.
see it.
I
that's true.
would love to see a TimeSplitters 4 where it's okay, here's an online game. It's 8v8, 8 or 16v16 or something like that. Big maps. Here's dual Tommy guns. Here's dual rocket launchers. One of my favorite weapons from TimeSplitters 2 was a sniper rifle with this shield on the front of it. It was pretty sweet. It just had the craziest weapons, and just to have this balls to the wall FPS, online FPS game again. There's just nothing like it on the market right now, and I would just love to have that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll have to see what happens with it. We'll definitely keep you guys updated with everything that kind of breaks with the whole TimeSplitters thing. I'm definitely obviously excited for the game, just to figure out where it's going to go and where it's going to land.
I hope they can figure out the whole Crytek thing. If they did a spiritual successor, I'd be okay with it. But
I mean,
I love
admit that it will
TimeSplitters.
essentially be the same
thing.
just
I want
slightly...
Mr. Flesh Cage.
That's what you want.
I want Mr. Flesh Cage.
4K. I want to see inside those organs.
In a world where we have Yooka-Laylee, which is the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, Mighty Number 9, the successor to Mega Man.
Well, maybe we don't want TimeSplitters to be the spiritual successor.
That's the thing.
I see what you're saying. I get it.
We don't know what
clear.
we'll get. I mean, but again, this is fan-made though.
Sure.
That needs to be prevalent.
Well, fan-made, but also there is original developers are tagged onto it to the actual game.
But
so
again,
they're
that's
technically
Yooka-Laylee,
fans,
Mighty Number 9, same thing.
Right.
So who knows?
And Yooka-Laylee was a little underwhelming, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, from what I still want to play it, but from what I heard,
for anyone who's sorry to interrupt you, but for anyone who doesn't know, Yooka-Laylee is the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, the Nintendo 64 game.
And that's and kind of jump off of that. It's I'd be okay with a spiritual successor to TimeSplitters, but it's kind of I would love a Banjo-Kazooie versus Yooka-Laylee. I'm sure Yooka-Laylee's great. I haven't played it yet. I want to.
Wait, what do you mean, versus?
Well, I'm just saying.
Oh, you'd rather have it over than a guy.
Yeah, it's I just want TimeSplitters.
It's I want to see them fight to the death.
It's I just want TimeSplitters. If it's a spiritual successor, I'll play it.
Yeah.
But it's just like Yooka-Laylee, I'll get around to playing that. But man, if it was a Banjo-Kazooie game, a new
if it was just Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts, oh god,
No.
I would play that immediately.
If it was Banjo-Tooie, Banjo 3E. I would just jump on that so fast.
Oh my god, I can't wait. Hopefully that'll be some news we get to talk about eventually on this game or on this show.
I hope so.
That would be amazing.
Until then, we're gonna move on to IGN is actually giving an exclusive Destiny 2 beta codes to 5,000 of their Prime members.
Are we one of those 5,000?
Or I'd say 4,999.
Yeah.
I just went ahead and scooped them all up. So if you want one beta code,
If this is not illegal at all. No, but they are going to go ahead on. They've started actually giving that out on July 12th, and it is first come first serve. You have to go to their website and basically kind of be a Prime member for IGN, and then B, like hopefully click that link quick enough to get one of those things. But it's giving you exclusive access to Destiny 2 way earlier than it's going to come out. And guys, I'm going to tell you, I would be super, super excited to get my hands on one of those codes because that game is looking phenomenal. I mean, when they came back out, what was it, just a little bit before E3, they had the whole Destiny 2, just basically expo for it.
Yeah.
And they revealed the entire thing. They talked about how there's going to be more story-centered. It's going to have a lot more cinematics. Like, I mean, just the trailer that they showed, the opening cinematic for the story itself was about at least, what, like 8 minutes? You know, it's they did a lot of work because that was one of the biggest gripes they had in Destiny 1. I mean, they're doing that. They have more story missions. They have more weapons, armor. They are giving a little bit more freedom to the basically the assignment of weapons. So like now you used to have your primary, secondary, and your heavy. Now it's just basically based off of like kinetic and physical and all that stuff. So you're not like basically subjected to just those 3 settings. You can just kind of switch out and have whatever you want. You can have 3 connected, 3 connected weapons, 3 physical weapons, all that stuff. They're doing less loading times, and they're just getting you straight into the action immediately by instead of having to go out of orbit to get to the next mission, you just seamlessly go into the next one. So like they're doing a lot of great things, and to have that early access to that beta would be amazing. But the question is, guys, who do we have to kill to get it? No, just kidding.
We'll just go
IGN.
We're coming for you. No, but are you guys pretty excited for Destiny 2 and how that's that whole thing coming out?
So here's my thing about it. So I never got around to playing the first one. It came out about
That's dumb. You should play the first one.
Apparently.
You're dumb.
Well, it's just I'm just a big stupid dummy head.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things that came out around the time PS4, Xbox One came out. It was like it was because it was on because it was a cross-platform. Remember, it was on.
That's right.
PS3,
You're right.
PS4,
You're right. I do remember that.
360. And Xbox One. But, it's just one of those games where it's like, at the time, there wasn't much on the PS4, and I had my PS4, and I was like, maybe I'll play this game. But I typically, I'll wait until I see reviews. I don't jump on a lot of games right off the bat unless it's
You don't like to make your own opinions. You like to make sure that everyone else likes it first. I totally get it.
Yeah, I just like to jump on the bandwagon and feel cool,
So basically, Hav and I play the games first, and we tell Zach if it's good or not.
But it's it's one of those things where it's like I thought about getting it, but I was like, let me wait for reviews.
Sure.
And then the reviews came out when the game originally came out, and it was
Peter
just
Dinklage kills a character.
Yeah, and I was just like,
so monotone.
Everybody it was like, it was getting like 7 to 8 something in there, and I was like, I'll pass for now. And by the time the game got really good, I had already moved on. Like, Overwatch was out, and I was like, I'm good.
Did you get into it?
No, not at all. Actually, up until probably the past couple of years, I was never big on playing online video games.
Well, yeah, and that was one of my gripes about the game too, is that it's very centered around online play, and again, I'm a very solo campaign type of person, and the campaign for that game wasn't the best. They did a weird thing where you would collect these collectibles, but you had to log into your Bungie account to end up reading them or to really see what they were about. It's just these grimoire cards that gave you more into the story. So you had to do. And I'm not a fan of reading, but when it comes to a video game, I don't want to break my immersion from that to read a 3-page story tidbit about the moons on Venus. I want to be in. I want to experience that. But the thing that they're doing in Destiny 2 is they're not only adding new locations and adding a lot more story missions and stuff like that, but they're actually taking one of the things that you had to play with a party. It was an online situation called Nightfall or Strikes. You could do a strike alone, but it was basically impossible. You had to have at least 3 other people to do it. And so like that was one of those things. I didn't have a lot of people who were still playing Destiny on PS3, which is what I had it on. And so I could never experience a strike. Whatever. I could never play a strike, or I could never play a Nightfall. So to this day I still haven't played, but what they're doing is they're having this like seamless drop in, drop out of, you know, of teams with like the way they do with matchmaking. Now they're doing that with Nightfall and Strike. So it's giving basically a broader thing for everyone to go, hey, come play a game. Also, meet new people. We have whole new clan support now. We can make your own clans with your own banners, and we have a whole new app that goes along with it that's going to basically help you get into the game and meet new people that are trying to play the things that you are trying to beat, right? So I think if you missed the first one, I think this would be the prime one to get into, because when they released those DLCs about, Iron for, or was it Wolves of Iron, and they had the Taken King, those were fantastic. I lost hours of my life playing those games.
Yeah, and like I said, you know, when those came out, like everybody's like, "Whoa, this game's way better," but it's just one of those things I had already moved on, and I just never jumped on. But I'm keeping an eye on the second one, and you know, it's like I saw a bit of it at E3. Haha, you weren't there, but
it's okay. I played the game.
But, you loser.
Yeah.
But, you know, what I saw from the second game looked really good.
Yeah,
and
great.
You know, I would love to jump into like a beta, just because like that's how, like, you know, with like Overwatch, I didn't know too much about Overwatch until I played just a beta of it, and I was like, oh wow, this game is incredible.
Yeah.
So I'd love to try that with Destiny.
Is it gonna win you over as well? Are you seeing?
Oh,
the
I mean,
things?
I'd be down to dive in with you guys if you guys want to make a
let's
party.
do it. That's the next. That's one of the shows.
Like I totally would want to
dive into Destiny 2.
Like that's my whole thing with online games. You know, up until I moved out to my own place, I couldn't really play online that much because I've always had crappy internet connection.
Yeah.
So I just never was able to play online.
That Philly connection.
I've never experienced it. Well, that's the thing. My first apartment in Philly, I had great internet. I played Bloodborne online all the time with a couple of my buddies, and it was super fun.
It's because the telephone pole was right next to my house. I could very easily just splice it in. It was great.
It was great.
You know?
But yeah, no,
across the street.
I'd love to dive into Destiny 2, and I've never been a great FPS guy, but you know,
you've never been really a great guy in general. So like,
no, not at all. So you know, I figured I'd start to learn.
You suck at video games. You suck at being a human being. Go back to Philly where everything
just
sucks.
To round off.
I don't know why I'm here.
Aesthetics, yeah.
It makes us look better.
Well, unfortunately, guys, I don't know if we can make it into the beta for this whole Prime situation. You know, for IGN giving the Prime members 5,000 codes. It's a very small number if you think about it.
Yeah.
However, Battlefront 2 is going to have an open beta starting on October 6th and 9th, or it's going from the 6th to the 9th. But if you pre-order it, you get 2 days early access. So it starts on the 4th. And that's going to be insane. They're going to have 40-player online matches of like the Galactic Assaults on Naboo. They're at the whole Theed situation where you get to play as either the Assault on Theed, where you get to play as either the droid army or the Republican clones, and it's gonna be fantastic. There's also not rumored actually, it's been basically announced by the publisher saying that you will be able to take part in an epic starfighter assault set during the original trilogy era, which is basically going to be a multi-stage battle.
That's what I want.
And that's something that we're going to have to do.
Galactic space battle, like that's what I want.
Yeah, the Star Wars dogfights, especially like what they've been doing now with the films. I think that like if they're going to put that into the gaming camps as well, I think it's going to be amazing. So we may miss the beta on Destiny 2. We'll have to wait until the game releases, but at least we'll get that early beta for Battlefront 2.
But I will say,
Can't wait.
I mean, there is one Battlefront 2 already, and the original Battlefront 2 is so damn good. They better live up. You don't just call a game Battlefront 2 and not acknowledge how great the previous one was, because it was
bring your
great.
8-game new Battlefront.
They better make it great, because the original Battlefront 2 game was phenomenal. I love that game. I think everyone does. It's a great game.
Oh yeah, I mean it was the first time you got to like really play. I mean it wasn't the first time you got to play like I don't know. Was that the first Star Wars game that you really considered like, yes, this is what it feels like to be in a Star Wars world, or do you think that was like Rogue Leader for the GameCube?
So I was Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron, sorry.
Was
what am I thinking of? Rogue? No, it's just Rogue Squadron. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Rogue Leader. Because there was one that came out for the
Red Leader,
N64.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm going back to the movie.
there was one for the N64, one for the GameCube. I think Rogue Leader was N64, if I'm not mistaken. And Rogue Squadron was GameCube. When that came, and I'm not even necessarily the biggest like Star Wars guy, but
You already established that early in the show.
But
a loser,
like,
that's
kind of like space combat kind of stuff,
Sure.
like Star Fox and stuff. I think
But not
I
Destiny.
love that kind of stuff. But not
You're conflicting yourself all over the place. Or contradicting.
I don't know. But I would like Rogue Squadron's just dope.
Yeah.
Like that game
Yeah.
was so good. So if they could do something even close to that with this new Battlefront game, I'm down.
If they make Battlefront 2 like this Battlefront 2, then I'm fine. Like it's a great game.
Dear EA, be good. Make Battlefront 2 again.
Well, you guys actually, they did. There was a leak on Reddit a little earlier this week about all the skins for all the different playable characters that you can play in Battlefront 2. I did not look at it because I didn't want to spoil it for myself. But you guys, listeners, viewers, you can go to Reddit, find that subreddit, and see all the playable. Because I mean, I know that they've already announced John Boyega as one of the characters. Basically Finn. They've announced Rey. They've announced Darth Maul.
Darth Maul, yeah.
So, but they have like the whole roster on that thread. And I just don't want to see it, but it's there. Now, we had a lot more to talk about today, but we got really in depth with Xbox One and PlayStation 5, and I think that's great. We'll have to just wait for next week to talk about those other things. Before we do end the show, though, I do want to talk about just really quickly Splatoon 2.
Yeah, let's do it.
The demo came out today. It ran from 3 p.m. until 7 p.m.
Pacific
time. Right, Pacific time. By the way, today, again, we are recording these episodes early, so today's the 15th. So everyone, you missed it. but
Go back in
we're
time
gonna
like 4 days or 5
just
days.
Listen real closely. We're going to tell you exactly how it felt to play the game. And I'm going to start with Javier on this one because you seem to have the biggest opinion when you walked into the room today about Splatoon 2.
I don't know. I might have it.
I know.
Oh, yeah?
I mean,
Might have
yeah. The biggest issue was we tried to form a party to play, and it seems like you need 4 players to play. Like you can't just be 2 and then have 2 random people come on.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's just a demo thing. It better be. But then
It was
again,
also just the online situation. I think like having those friend codes that you like. Okay, so Nintendo. Anyone who doesn't have a Switch or has never tried to play an online multiplayer game on Nintendo, you have to have each console is designated or each user is designated a friend code, right? And you have to share that friend code through either a text with your friends, like this is my friend code, please search me, and that's how you amass your friend list.
Your friend list, yeah.
And it's unlike PlayStation or Sony or Microsoft where you can just go into a game, see like, oh, I like playing with that guy, and be like friend. You have to like go and you have to know that person.
You have to know that
personally.
person.
Yeah.
You can't play with somebody in Overwatch. Be like, oh yeah, I'd like to friend ButtLover69. You just send them a message, say, hey, what's up?
Why did you just tell them my gamer tag? No, yeah. So that was a nuisance, but I was more asking. We'll get to the whole online connectivity aside. I was asking your personal experience playing the game, the gameplay.
Oh, okay. So the gameplay. So I have not played Splatoon for about maybe like a year or 2. I haven't touched Splatoon, just because my little brother had it and I didn't have a Wii U.
Sure.
Oh god, the game's so difficult. Like it's so difficult to keep track of everything because like a typical it's a third-person shooter, which is fine. That's not bad. What's tough about that game is that you not only have to keep track of where your enemies are, but your environment. Because if you're stepping on opponent's ink, you can't move very fast, and you get like you just can't function properly. So it's just like when I first jumped into a game, oh god, I was just getting my ass whipped so much because I was just shooting like, why am I dying so fast?
Yeah, and it really like reinvents the whole FPS like multiplayer situation because, again, I'm not a person who really loves multiplayer games, FPS multiplayer games. Or no, this isn't first person shooter. This is a third person shooter. But those games, the whole crux of it is you go and kill the other teammates. But in this game, you're having to paint the arena and like killing.
At least in
killing,
Turf War.
Okay, see, that's the only one I played. But that's the only thing they had on the demo, though, wasn't it?
Oh, in the demo,
Yeah, in the
Right,
demo,
so,
that's all
this
they
was
had.
the first experience I ever had with Splatoon, by the way. So,
Oh,
I
yeah.
only know of Turf War as of right this second.
Right.
But like when you go into the game, you're expecting to go like I'm gonna amass a lot of points by inking the opponent team, and like that's how I think I'm gonna win. But it's really just that's a side note.
Yeah,
like
it's how much
it's like
ground you cover.
Right. It's just
Yeah.
spreading your color on the map, and it really makes you think of the game in a whole different context and the strategy.
It's
Yeah.
just it's very different for a like a third-person shooter, or like online multiplayer game. It's like Nintendo always they go the extra step to just be different, and this is a game that like it's really different than other games that are on the market that are like multiplayer third-person shooters,
Yeah,
but
online shooter.
in a good way. Like it's good. Like I love that Nintendo thinks outside of the box and does something different. Than
Sure.
We don't need like 25 different versions of like Call of Duty or
We already
whatever.
have
that. Not that that's
God.
that's first-person shooter, but
Sure.
just use
Sure,
that
sure,
as an
sure.
example. But I'm glad that they're doing something different. But and I love, like, I was a huge fan of the first Splatoon.
Do you think this
and-
one lives up to a sequel, like
I mean,
a worthy sequel?
Yeah, I mean, I think
think
it's
so.
definitely like
Yeah.
it's more Splatoon, which isn't a bad thing. Splatoon's an amazing game.
I got a little addicted to it.
But
when I was playing it.
you know, my
Typically I wanna get
biggest
to it, though.
my biggest problem with it is just Nintendo needs to figure out online. They need
Yeah,
to like
it's-
That's the biggest. That's
you know,
such
it's-
like
hassle.
this game could be amazing if they
Yeah.
just fix that aspect.
'Cause-
Because they took off the freaking friend codes. I
Yeah.
hate that.
well, and obviously the the app isn't out yet,
Sure.
so we can't speak completely about like what the online
True,
is
true,
going to
true.
be like.
True.
It could be way easier to friend people, set up a party together. But as of right now, with this demo, it's just it's too cumbersome.
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah.
I'm so used to playing Overwatch with on PS4 with like a lot of good, just awesome people that I've just met through playing.
Exactly, and that's the
Online.
best part. That's why you play online games. And
Right.
when you don't have the availability to talk into a headset, you got to
Yeah.
use your phone, or you don't. It's not as easy to befriend other players when
Yeah.
you're playing the game.
Yeah.
It's just like it kind of negates the whole purpose of an online shooter
Yeah.
or an
Yeah.
online game in general.
Yeah.
That being said, I love the game. It was
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
No,
It
it's
was-
it's fun to play.
yeah.
It's really pretty to look at. It's
oh,
colorful.
it's so gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's,
and even in, like Inkopolis, like the hub area with the DJ party going on, it's really fun, and the music is
Yeah.
fun, and all the characters are really interesting. That's the one thing, Nintendo will always make a game that's interesting to look at.
Yeah.
It's
True,
really
yeah.
pretty. It
They-
looks nice, feels nice. It's just, look at that Splatoon 2 headset. It's not pretty, and just their online
and
is
it's
just not good.
in its own way is like a weird squid. It's got these
Yeah.
like it has to go to the Switch and your phone.
Yeah,
And it's just
and then there's this
it's-
weird thing you got to plug shit into, and you got your headphones. It's just it's a mess.
yeah,
like so
it's
many
like
all of a
wires.
sudden you look like the guy from Transcendence with like all these like wires
Yeah.
coming out of
Yeah.
you. You're
It's like
half a squid
I
already.
love Nintendo, but it's like it's such like a love-hate relationship where it's like
It's only that
it's
you think
always
they would know how to fix that. You think that they would like be like, all right,
Yeah.
this is how
Yeah.
it is. We already have like models for it through the different
Yeah.
other systems. Like,
Yeah.
just
they're
implement some
always
of those
like
things, man.
they're 2 steps forward, 1 step back every time.
Yeah.
It's like online gaming has been around since the OG Xbox.
Yeah.
It's just before that obviously with
Way
PC,
to bring
but,
the show back around at the beginning, man.
Woo!
That's my job.
That's
you
what
killed
we
it.
do
But I mean,
here.
like
It's a circle. Yeah.
But a structure for online consoles has been around, since Microsoft
A
did
long
it with
time.
the
2005,
and it's like they
2004?
still can't figure it out. Like Nintendo just can't do it. They can't
Yeah.
get past this hurdle.
Well, they're also they're trying to keep it family
Right.
compatible and friendly too. They're
Yeah,
trying to
keeping
keep
it safe.
But
They're trying to keep mothers from being
Insulted.
insulted on their consoles, essentially. Yeah.
the way I see it though is it's not their job.
Yeah.
They can't be everybody's parents. Because
Yeah.
it's like the
They
minute
can
they
be my parents.
I wish.
like
I know.
Miyamoto could be my father any day, but
Yeah.
it's like Nintendo doesn't need a baby me. It's like
Sure.
I'm a grown adult. Obviously, there are kids that play that platform, but it's up to the parents to get all that worked out.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's they need to set up a system where it's like, okay, it's here's the parental
Right,
controls.
right,
You
right,
can't
right.
you can't jump onto a voice chat or something like that.
That aside, though, like, I'll reiterate again, like, the game I thought played very smoothly. It was a lot of fun. It does make
Yeah.
you think about the whole strategy of the game a whole different way, because you go in there, think you're going to go shoot people, and all of a sudden you're losing because you're not getting the turf, if you're playing turf war.
Right.
Then you start just focusing on the turf, and you're getting shot all over the place, you can't do anything, and then you're like, I'm going to try the sniper, because, like, I'm always a sniper usually, which is I'm afraid to play Overwatch.
Do not play
No.
Widow and Hanzo. I'll punch you
Don't
in your
you
face.
dare.
I know.
Don't.
As soon as you guys said he was a sniper, I was like, oh, I love snipers.
He's not a sniper as much as just a just
Annoying.
an annoyance.
Okay.
Just
But in Splatoon, you try to. I hate the sniper like that. I can't do it. You gotta charge it up. It doesn't really seem like it goes very far as a sniper should, and like especially in a game where you're trying to cover area, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, all right. That's why. Now I know why you told me why that gun sucks when you texted me
Yeah.
about that earlier today.
Yeah.
It's all about that game's all about movement. Like
Yeah.
that gun.
and that gun
shoots,
slows you down.
Well, no, but that gun shoots a line of paint, so you can just zip forward in your squid form and then knock somebody around a corner. Like that's
yeah,
how
but
you
knock
play.
him with what?
With your gun.
The
They don't
gun
know that
takes,
you're
like,
coming around the corner.
The gun takes
But
3
then-
seconds to charge.
that's when you have like a sweet bomb at your side.
Yeah, it's called getting good.
It's
and
called
knowing
I just
how to
started.
play.
Get good.
Well, hey, whatever. You were saying that your ass handed to you all day.
I
So,
was.
Yeah,
I'm
but you're
not-
using the crappy guns. That's my point.
I got some good points.
But-
I became an ice cream champion.
Dummy.
But
I
I will,
became an ice cream
so-
headache.
No.
I will say like my, because I know we're running long. And my
Yeah, we're about
last
to-
my
yeah.
my last thing I'd like to say, it was
This is a
it
middle
was,
finger to my face. Like, okay.
That's it.
but my biggest problem, I think, and I never thought about it until I finally played this demo. I didn't get to play the first Splatfest, but I think I just like playing it on the Wii U better, because on the Wii U
you have the
tablet
map.
you have the map,
Oh,
true.
and
yeah.
without that map you're like, I don't know how much ground we've covered. You can't
Yeah, you've gotta open
you
it
can
up.
pop the map open, but it takes up your whole
the whole screen, yeah, the entire
You
screen.
can't do like a tiny like Mario Kart map in the
yeah.
corner, anything like that. There's not even like, hey, this is their percentage, this is our percentage. It shows your percentage, but it doesn't show theirs, and it's like that doesn't help me.
Yeah.
Because they
I
don't
need it-
account for areas that aren't inked. So like your percentage could be high, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
It's like there was one match I played today where it's just like the other team was, it shows like danger, like they're way
yeah,
lower
yeah,
than
yeah,
us. I was like, oh cool, we're easily gonna win, and then we lost, but it's because I couldn't see the map,
it's because you're bad. It's because you were bad.
and I. No, I am great. All right,
He could not
Denial's
contain this.
always the
Like,
first
I got the paint roller. I'm just owning. But
I
like
love
I
the
need
dualies. The
I
dualies were
need
like
to
that.
see the map.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
I
wish
agree.
I could just play the game on my TV, but with the whole
Well,
Switch console
yeah.
in my hand, so I could see the map on my tablet. I
Yeah.
wish Nintendo would do that with their games, because
Well,
I know
this
they
was
want to
the demo.
separate.
Maybe that's a thing that
It
they.
won't be.
Just
All right,
It won't
Nintendo, show us the map. That's what we need.
It won't be, because it's they want to step away from the Wii U as much as physically possible.
Well, plus it's coming out on the 21st, so
Yeah.
of July this month. So.
It's just they won't do it.
All right. Well then, bare bones, buy it. Yes, no.
Splatoon 2?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd buy it.
All right.
If you two buy it, I'll buy it.
We need one more person though to play online.
Apparently.
I'm gonna refrain from saying. I'm gonna refrain from voting. No, I think that it's gonna take me a little bit, but the challenge and the unique experience of trying the strategy that it, offers you, the unique, the unique opportunity to try to figure out a different strategy for this game that's like completely wholly original entity of itself. I think that's enough to get me to buy the game. That would probably be enough to sell me on Splatoon 1, but now I'm seeing Splatoon 2 with like the whole special abilities that they've added and stuff like that. We didn't get to touch on that. Is incredible and it's great and it's a lot of fun and definitely new ways that evoke a different strategy. It's like when your ink is about to like it's depleted, instead of like going into the paint itself to replenish, just push that special, and when you come out of it, you got full ink and you just killed some people too. Well. Not killed. Where's the Nintendo? Yeah.
I mean,
You knocked
You
them on their butt.
splattered 'em.
Yeah.
Splat 'em, yeah.
All right, but that is our show. Now we didn't get to a couple of things today. I'm not gonna outright say what we didn't get to because that'll be for next week. But you can definitely see that we have some new news about the producer of the Castlevania anime show. He's got some things on the horizon that we want to talk about. Also, a couple of other games that were released just
Today.
today. D23. I'm just gonna say the initials. I'm gonna say KH3.
Yep.
It's been something that has been talked about since 2008, I believe.
We're going way back.
So we'll get to that next week as well. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. If you either watched us, if you're listening, thank you so much. Again, please visit our Patreon at www.patreon.com. No, not www.patreon.com.
Patreon.com.
www.com.
.gov.edu.
I don't know why I said WW part because that's always what gets me mixed up. Patreon.com/multiplayer. You can also check out all the links of the things that we talked about on today's show at our Twitter @GoMultiplayer, and you can also see some behind the scenes photos and stuff at our Instagram @GoMultiplayer as well. The last thing I want to say is a special thank you to DJ CUTMAN for giving us that great intro music. If you want to hear more of his 8-bit chip tune. If you want to hear his 8 chips, go to his bit tune situation at his website at djcutman.com. Anything else, guys? One little last goodbye or message you want to give the audience?
Splatoon 2 Marina is fine.
And be sure to just follow us on our Twitter and all that. I'm at Zackmatzgana, ZACKMATZGA.
Yes. At Multiplayer Hav on Twitter, just Multiplayer, and then Hav, JAV.
You can follow me at Mas Dorado on Twitter or on Instagram at Guillermo_Dorado. And you can also follow our 2 amazing cameramen and sound guys. We have at Multiplayer Nath, my favorite name, and then at Mick to the Wood, both on Instagram and Twitter. But guys. That's that we consider them the butt guys. No,
the butt guys.
I was gonna say, but guys, that is the end of our show. So thank you so much again, and we will see you next week for when we respawn for that new episode. You guys still keep grinding and keep playing.
We love you.
We love you. Take it easy.
We'd like to give a big ol' special thank you to Jaden Lawrence, Arturo Madeira, and Mercha Dan Krolpatariu. If you want to receive shoutouts like these awesome, beautiful people, be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayered. See you next time, players.